So you've brought us a really fascinating set of sources this time, all kind of circling around a single event. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's declaration of Bangladesh's independence back in March of 71, right
Mhm.
before his arrest. Well, it's a pretty pivotal moment.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, the stakes were just so high. Pakistan as a nation was coming apart at the seams. You had Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. His Awami League had just won a landslide victory in the elections. But, the military junta, they weren't giving up power easily. You can just feel the tension building in these documents.
Right, totally. And that's exactly where we need to sort of focus our energy today. I mean, that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating, right? How did Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman actually pull this off? How did he manage to declare Bangladesh's independence in the middle of all that chaos just hours before he was arrested on March 25th, 1971? And the sources you sent, well, they give us some pretty interesting pieces of this puzzle. We've got news reports from, let me see, the Times of India, the Dominion, the transcript, and even, wow, what looks like the actual declaration itself.
That's right. And by putting these pieces together, I think we can start to paint a clearer picture of how this all went down. It's going to be, a journey.
Absolutely. So where do we even begin with something like this? I mean, we've got so much to unpack here.
Well, I think the best place to start is with the declaration itself. It's titled, let me check, here it is, Declaration of War of Independence. Now, this is attributed directly to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. And there's a note here saying it was relayed through Mr. Zahur Ahmed Chowdhury. It's dated March 25th, 1971 at, get this, 25.30 hours.
25.30 hours. What does that even mean?
Yeah, it's basically 1:30 a.m. on March 26th. You gotta remember, this is all happening in the thick of things. Timekeeping might have been a little, fluid. But the important thing is this. It happened immediately after the Pakistani army cracked down. That note at the top really emphasizes the urgency of the situation.
Right, yeah, no time to waste. So what does it actually say? What's the core message here?
It's pretty powerful stuff. It starts off describing the situation. Pak Army is suddenly attacking East Pakistan Rifles at Pilkhana police line and killing citizens in street battles all over Dhaka and Chittagong.
Wow. So it's not just a theoretical declaration, it's a reaction to a very real and violent attack that's already in progress.
Absolutely. And it goes on to issue a direct appeal to the international community. It says, to the nations of the world for help against our freedom fighters.
Interesting wording there, against our freedom fighters. Almost like he's anticipating how the international community might initially perceive this situation. But the message is clear. We need help.
Definitely. And then it shifts to a call to action within Bangladesh itself, calls on our freedom fighters and urges them to gallantly fight for the independence of Bangladesh.
So there's no ambiguity here. It's a full-on call for independence and resistance.
Yeah, no mincing words. It's all about resolve and, invoking a higher power. He says, Almighty Allah to fight to the last drop of blood to liberate the country.
That's heavy stuff. And then are there, specific instructions for the people on the ground? What are they supposed to do?
Oh, yeah, there are. He directs them, let me see, ask police in EPR Bengal Regiment to stand by and fight. No compromise. Victory is ours. It's, about as clear a set of orders as you can get in a situation like this.
Right. So he's trying to maintain some sort of order and command structure in the middle of all this chaos.
Exactly. There's one more crucial piece here. This isn't just meant to be a personal statement. He wants this message to spread far and wide. The declaration ends with this instruction. Convey this message to all Awami League leaders, workers, and other patriots and lovers of freedom. May Allah bless you. Joy Bangla.
Wow, so it's a rallying cry, a call to arms for the entire movement.
Right. To make sure it got out, there's a note here at the bottom. This message was communicated from Tenel to Dinaspur and to friendly countries through some vessel anchored at Bay of Bengal near Chittagong by Mr. Zahur Ahmed Chowdhury.
So they're using whatever means they can to get this message out. Landlines, ships, I mean, who knows what else? They're not taking any chances.
Not at all. They knew the importance of getting the word out, both domestically and to the outside world. But now, let's see how the rest of the world reacted to this, explosive situation. The news reports you brought in really paint a vivid picture.
Yeah, they really do. Take this one from the Times of India. It's dated Saturday, March 27th, 1971. The headline just jumps out at you. Is Free Bangladesh. I mean, talk about a bold statement.
Right. And then the subheadline, well, it really sets the tone. It says, heavy casualties in civil war, Pindi troops surrounded in at least 6 cantonments.
So it's not just a declaration on paper. This is a full-blown conflict, and it's getting messy fast.
Absolutely. And the article itself confirms this break from Pakistan. It says, a sovereign independent People's Republic of Bangladesh was proclaimed by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman today, even as President Yahya Khan ordered the army to fully restore the authority of his government in the turbulent eastern wing.
And today, in this article, would be March 26, right? The day after that declaration we were just talking about.
Exactly. So the timeline seems to line up perfectly. And get this, the Times of India report explicitly states that the proclamation was made before Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's arrest.
Which confirms what we saw in the declaration itself. It all happened very, very quickly.
No kidding. But hold on, there's another piece of the puzzle here.
Huh?
This report, just called Proclamation by Rahman, dated March 26 from Agartala, it mentions something called the Voice of Independent Bangladesh, and it says it was a clandestine radio station.
A secret radio station. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you're trying to get a message out under a repressive regime, a secret radio station would be a pretty effective way to do it.
Totally. And the report says this station broadcast the news that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman had declared those 75 million people in East Pakistan, citizens of, this newly formed sovereign independent Bangladesh. They credit PTI, the Press Trust of India, as the source. And they even mentioned this clandestine radio station was broadcasting from somewhere in the north of East Pakistan.
So they're not just relying on word of mouth or smuggled messages. They've managed to seize control of a radio station and are using it to broadcast their message directly to the people.
Exactly. And this report also talks about how the broadcast urged the people of this free Bangladesh to continue the current movement till the last enemy soldier is vanquished. It names Mr. Rahman as the leader, someone whose orders should be obeyed.
And it sounds like people were listening. It says the Free Bangladesh flag had been hoisted all over East Pakistan, and millions of people led by the Awami League were ready to make any sacrifice for independence. I mean, that's powerful stuff.
Really powerful. It shows how quickly this movement took hold and the level of support Sheikh Mujibur Rahman already had.
And it wasn't just about symbolism either. According to this report, the broadcast was giving people practical instructions, telling them things like not to obey the martial law administration, to come out of their houses with whatever weapons they have, and to offer stiff resistance to West Pakistani troops. It even urged people to observe a total hardle, a general strike, the next day.
Wow, so they're literally calling for a shutdown of the entire region. And they were confident about victory, too. It mentions how they believed they had the backing of the Bengal Regiment, the East Pakistan Rifles, and even the police.
Which would explain all the reports of heavy fighting breaking out all over the place. So we're getting confirmations from multiple sources now, right? There was a clandestine radio broadcast. They're calling for independence. People are responding, and violence is erupting. And it's all tied to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman.
Absolutely. And the Dominion chimes in, too. Their article from March 27th, titled Independence Stirs Civil War, really drives this point home. It says, despite the Pakistan government's crackdown, an independent republic of East Pakistan had been proclaimed through a clandestine radio broadcast. Again, that clandestine radio keeps popping up.
Right, and it's attributed to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, leader of the Awami League. No doubt about who's behind this. But then they add this really interesting detail. They say the radio station was believed captured by his supporters from army authorities.
So it wasn't just some hidden transmitter they were operating in secret. They actually took control of an existing station, one that probably belonged to the government. Talk about a bold move.
Totally. And the article goes on to say there was heavy fighting reported in several areas, and that East Pakistan Rifles and the police were reported to have joined the Awami League in the battle for independence. That proclamation really was a call to arms, and people were answering it.
Definitely. And then we have the transcript. Their headline from the same day is Independence Proclaimed, Civil War Erupts in East Pakistan. It pretty much sums it all up, doesn't it? The proclamation and the immediate descent into violence are inextricably linked.
Yeah, no kidding. The New Delhi Chai report says the civil war actually broke out on Friday, March 26th, local time. That's the day after the crackdown began. And it mentions President Yahya Khan scrambling back to West Pakistan and publicly ordering his armed forces to fully restore the authority of the government. Sounds like things were getting out of hand fast.
Totally. And then here's the important part for our deep dive. Sources reaching New Delhi said over the clandestine radio in East Pakistan, Mujibur Rahman proclaimed independence for the 75 million people of East Pakistan as citizens of the independent sovereign republic. So again, it's that same story. Clandestine radio, Declaration of Independence, and Mujibur Rahman at the center of it all.
It's amazing how consistent these reports are, despite coming from different sources. And the transcript adds that this radio station actually called itself the Voice of Independent Bengal. Remember that report? Proclamation by Rahman? It mentioned the same thing.
Right. It all lines up. And like that other report, this one from the transcript also talks about how they were appealing for help from other nations, especially those in Asia and Africa, asking for recognition and probably any support they could get. It's that same plea for international assistance we saw in the written declaration itself.
It's like they're building a case for their independence on a global stage, even as they're fighting for it at home. So powerful. Okay, let's move on to this one. It's called Pakistan Sheikh Arrested, and it's from New Delhi, also dated March 27th. It says that Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested only hours after he proclaimed independence for East Pakistan.
Wow. Talk about a tight timeline. The declaration, the broadcast, the fighting, and then bam, he's arrested. It all happened incredibly fast.
It really did. The report mentions an official announcement in Dhaka confirming he was taken into custody at his residence at 1:30 a.m. Chicago time the previous day. Now, when you factor in the time difference, that lines up almost perfectly with what we've been seeing about the timing of that late night or early morning proclamation.
Exactly. And this report adds that the radio station called itself Independent Bengal and was also broadcasting appeals to the United Nations and other Asian and African countries for recognition and aid. Again, that same message, that same plea for help.
Okay, now we've got a couple of reports, both titled Mujib Sets Up Independent Republic. The first one, a New Delhi report from that Friday, states that while fighting raged, President Yahya Khan outlawed the Awami League as provincial leader Sheikh Mujib proclaimed independence for the province.
That's a powerful statement. Not only are they cracking down militarily, but they're also trying to erase any legal basis for this independence movement. Outlawing the Awami League was a direct attack on Bangabandhu's political power.
Absolutely. And the report also mentions Indian radio monitors reported Rahman made the independence proclamation from a radio station believed captured by his supporters from army authorities. That, again, points to how that message got out.
Yep, that clandestine radio broadcast. And they even pinpoint the location. The report says the Press Trust of India, or PTI, specifically reported Awami League supporters had captured a radio station in Chittagong.
Chittagong, that's a major port city, right?
Right. So not just any random station. They took control of a strategically important one, probably with a much wider broadcast range.
Gotcha. Okay, then we have an article titled Desh Declares Free. This report says that Pakistan's eastern wing rechristened the independent state of Bangladesh by Sheikh Mujibur Rahman in a clandestine radio broadcast was in the throes of civil war, and it confirms all that heavy fighting in Dhaka, Chittagong, and other towns.
It's just a stark reminder of how quickly this Declaration of Independence turned into a full-blown war. And the report mentions that Mr. Rahman and other Awami League leaders had gone underground. I mean, makes sense, right? With the crackdown in full swing, they had to disappear to survive.
Totally. And finally, this last Mujib Sets Up Independent Republic report really just reiterates the key points we've already covered. Intense fighting, Yahya Khan outlawing the Awami League, and that proclamation broadcast from that captured radio station in Chittagong based on reports from PTI. It's like a final confirmation of everything we've been piecing together.
It is. So you've now seen all these sources, heard all these different perspectives. What's the overall picture that emerges to you? I mean, how did Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman actually manage to declare independence?
Well, it's pretty clear, isn't it? Despite all the chaos and violence, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman did indeed proclaim the independence of Bangladesh before his arrest on, well, we can say March 25th, 26th, 1971. The declaration itself, that declaration of war of independence, lays out his message, his intentions, and the urgency of the situation. And all these news reports from different sources, they all back that up.
Right. It's not just one isolated account. It's a chorus of voices, all confirming this momentous act.
Exactly. And they all point to this clandestine radio broadcast, this Voice of Independent Bengal, as the primary means by which that declaration reached the people. And the timing is pretty consistent, too. Late night on March 25th, early morning hours on March 26th, right after that Pakistani army crackdown began. It all lines up with what we see in that declaration document.
Right. It's like they had a plan and they were ready to act the moment the situation demanded it.
Exactly. And the core message of that proclamation, that call for independence, the plea for resistance, the appeal for international support, It resonates throughout all these sources. It's a message that clearly resonated with the people of Bangladesh, prompting them to take action, to raise that flag, to fight for their freedom.
And those news reports also highlight the crucial role played by the Awami League supporters. I mean, they didn't just sit back and wait. They took action. They captured that radio station in Chittagong, providing a platform for Bangabandhu's voice to be heard.
It was a brilliant strategic move that allowed them to bypass the Pakistani government's control of information and reach the masses directly. And sadly, as those reports confirm, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was arrested shortly after making that proclamation. It's like a tragic punctuation mark at the end of this incredible story.
It is a tragic turn of events, but his act of defiance, that Declaration of Independence, it set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the birth of a new nation.
Absolutely. So, to sum it all up for you, we now have a much clearer understanding of how Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman declared Bangladesh's independence. It was through a clandestine radio message broadcast in the immediate aftermath of the Pakistani military crackdown just hours before his arrest. This single act of courage, fueled by a powerful message, ignited a struggle that would reshape the map of the world.
It's a powerful reminder of the impact a single voice can have, even in the face of overwhelming odds. It makes you wonder what other seemingly insignificant acts throughout history have had such a profound and lasting impact.
It really does make you think. And maybe that's something for all of us to consider as we move forward, how even the smallest actions, the quietest voices, can spark momentous change.
Absolutely. It's a lesson worth pondering.
It certainly is.